Okay guys, in this video, I'm going to be showing you some of the parts for the unmodified train. Let's start with part number 2, the stack. This is a part that we can revolve, so we're just going to be drawing on the XY plane. I'm going to over-exaggerate the size and location of certain features. And then when we are ready to dimension them, we will change those dimensions later. Make sure that when you're drawing this, you aren't connecting to any other points and that everything is independent by itself. Let's go ahead and add some dimensions. This first section right here, that is going to be 0.25. This section here is also going to be 0.25. This down here, since we are revolving it and the radius or the diameter is 0.5, this will also be 0.25. If this happens, don't worry. Just drag all of your lines into its proper location and continue dimensioning. From here to here, this has a diameter of 1.25, but we're going to divide that by 2 to give us a radius. If this happens to you, just drag your lines back and put them where you think they should go. Let's add some locations. From the bottom to this point here, this is 1.5, and from the bottom to the very top, this is 1.75. We need to draw a straight line up from that point there, and then to use this as a reference to give us this angle here. This needs to be 15. And let's keep moving. The dimension of this hole is 0.875 divided by 2. This depth is 0.375. This here, this radius should be 0.375 divided by 2, and that is it. Once you have this, go ahead and revolve everything that you see. Our axis is going to be this central line that we drew, and we end up with a stack that looks like this. Go ahead and save this. Create a new drawing to draw the linkage peg. We are also going to be revolving this, so create a drawing on the XY plane. Go ahead and draw 2 rectangles, a flat rectangle and a vertical rectangle. Let's dimension these rectangles to have a total length from left to right of 0.325. This rectangle here should be 0.25. This rectangle has a height or a diameter of 0.125 divided by 2. And we're just going to leave it as such. I'm then going to add an arc from this point to this point. I'm not going to put any dimensions on this arc just yet because I do want to use my tangent constraint to lock in this arc with this line. And you'll notice that it does something like this. All we have to do is click on our coincident constraint and connect it back down with that rectangle. If it moves the rectangle, it's not a big deal. Now we have to give this arc a dimension of 0.1562. Once that is placed, the arc will shrink and the rectangle shrinks back down to a regular size. Finish your sketch and then revolve just this section of the arc and this rectangle around this axis. Once you have that, go ahead and look at what we have created. To create the cow catcher. The cow catcher has some interesting geometry. Go ahead and create a sketch on the XZ plane. Pay attention to how it rotated and rotate it so we're looking at the top like this. Create a shape that has the general shape of a home plate used in baseball. It's kind of like a diamond shape, like this. Let's add some dimensions. This is our bottom plate. So this is going to be 1.8, and the total distance from front to back is 1 inch. This section here is 0.25, and if it throws off your shape, don't worry, you can undo and try to make things equal with each other before changing anything else. For whatever reason, the two lines that I created here created a perpendicular angle. So I need to delete those two lines and create something that isn't a perpendicular angle. Now I can go ahead and dimension this with an angle of 50 degrees and this side with an angle of 50 degrees. Then I can go ahead and place this length to be 1 inch, and it's going to tell me that it's too much information, so I'm just going to say OK and move on. I'm then going to use my coincident constraint to connect my midpoint to my origin. Once you have that, finish your sketch. We're now going to create a brand new plane by clicking on this pull down menu next to plane that says offset from plane. We are going to offset from the XZ plane 0.75 inches up. Once you have that plane, go ahead and click on it to create a sketch there. We're going to copy the same process to create our shape. I'm going to use my equals constraint to make these two lines equal with each other. The angle should also be 50 degrees on both sides. This dimension here should be 1.2, and from front to back, the length of this should be 0.75. Once you have that, we're going to use our coincident constraint to lock the midpoint in with the origin, and we are done. We are now going to use our loft feature. I'm going to click right here where it says click to add, select sketch 1, it automatically sees my profile. I'm going to click to add again and select sketch 2. As you can see, it creates this preview, and this is exactly what we want. So go ahead and say OK. Right click on this plane and turn off the visibility, and this is what we have left. Turn it over so we're looking at the bottom of this, and we're going to shell this so that way it's hollow. Go to your shell function right here and click on this bottom face. What this does is it removes this bottom, and this is what we are left with. The shell should be 0.1 thickness, and say OK. Next, create a plane here. Next, create a sketch here. Click on Project Geometry. Go to Offset. Bring this in by 0.1 and finish your sketch. We're going to do that same thing to this other side of our cow catcher. Project Geometry, Offset, and bring it in by 0.1 and finish our sketch. We're then going to extrude this by 0.05, and we're cutting into the part, and we're going to repeat that over here into the part so that we end up with something that looks like this. We then have to add pegs on this back face, so we're going to create 3 circles randomly placed, or you can kind of find them. Make sure that they don't connect to anything. Make all of these circles equal with each other, and now we can locate them. Now I can go ahead and locate their vertical locations. They are 0.50 apart from each other. And 0.125, and 0.125 from the bottom. One thing I forgot to add is the actual size of these circles. The diameter is 0.125. This last circle over here didn't lock in with it, so I'm just going to click on my horizontal constraint, click the center point and this center point, and everything should align. Once you have that, go ahead and extrude all 3 circles to have a distance of 0.125. Go ahead and save this as part number 9, cowcatcher. It's now your responsibility to finish drawing all other parts for this unmodified train, and then we will talk about what the next steps are. If you guys have any questions, please let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next video.